You could see the seriousness and eagerness on his face as he walked, and at that moment, he also remembered Momo's smile. Courage was clearly visible on his face as he moved forward. Okarun arrived at Momo's classroom and saw that she and her friends were cheerfully playing You Look You Lose. He stared at them, his attention focused solely on Momo's laughing face. He stopped outside the doorway, remaining silent as he continued to watch her. Seeing how much she was enjoying herself, he decided that now wasn't the right time to talk to her, so he simply turned and left. After he walked away from the door, Momo glanced in that direction, but since he was no longer there, she just stared for a moment in quiet thought. Meanwhile, in another classroom, Sakata was in disbelief after hearing that Momo was back in action. He exclaimed that he must present himself to her, insisting that she must be absolutely dying to see him. Rin quickly told him to calm down and explained that Momo wouldn't be that keen to see him. Offended, Sakata asked in a sharp tone what the class rep had just said to him. In response, Rin pointed out that Momo was quite confused and exceptionally nervous, so it would be best to leave her alone for now. She added that Momo still had her close friends, and with time, her daily life would probably return to normal. Wouldn't that be better once everything settled down? She asked, but Sakata scoffed and said he didn't like that idea. Then, without warning, he suddenly ran off yelling Gale Wind Albert away, while Vamola also jumped up and shouted Marigoto Banana away, causing Rin to try stopping them as she yelled for them to wait. As they ran through the hallway, Sakata loudly shouted, asking where Okarun was. After that, the scene shifted to Okarun, shown quietly observing. He was watching Momo from a distance as she walked with her two friends, doing so secretly while hiding behind a door. When the three girls sat down on a bench nearby to chat, he continued spying from behind a barrier. When they eventually left to go somewhere else, he hid near the stairs to keep an eye on them, looking every bit like a stalker at this point. He had even prepared himself to finally talk to her, waiting at the turn for her to walk by. But when he saw her coming, he immediately turned his head away and walked off instead. Later, when Momo and her friends returned to the classroom, Okarun peeked through the door again, watching her silently, but still unable to reveal himself. Soon after, Okarun slumped down on a bench outside by the side of the school building. Lifelessly, he began berating himself, calling himself a stupid ignoramus, an imbecilic stalker, and a useless wuss, before ordering himself to hurry up and just go talk to Momo already. He recalled the time when she seriously asked him who he was, and he frowned bitterly at the memory. He said to himself that his heart broke that moment, as if she had spoken those words directly to his face. He wanted to talk to her, but if she looked at him like that again, he wouldn't be able to muster the courage to do it. Afterward, he stood up, scratching his head in frustration, cursing under his breath, and asking himself what on earth he was even doing. Wasn't he the one who decided to talk to Momo in the first place? Then, his attention was caught by a group of students laughing as they walked by, and when he looked, he saw that it was Momo with her friends. He blushed upon seeing her, but when Momo's eyes turned his way, he instantly disappeared from view. It turned out that he had quickly hidden behind the barrier separating them, while Momo stared for a while at the spot where he had just been standing. You could see the sweat on his face as he hid, and in the next scene, as he walked down the hallway, he angrily called himself a total dumbass. Right there, he pushed himself once again, declaring that this time he would really go and talk to her. While walking, his attention was caught by Momo again, who was walking ahead of him. He followed her, thinking that since she was alone now, it might be easier to talk to her this time. Momo turned right at the corner of the hall, and as Okarun continued to follow her, he started getting irritated with himself, realizing that he had actually turned into a full-on stalker. He pointed out to himself that all he really needed to do was just talk to her normally. However, to his surprise, when he turned the corner, Momo was already waiting for him, causing him to freeze on the spot and fall completely silent. She told him seriously that she had noticed he'd been tailing her everywhere for quite some time now. She pointed out that if he had something to say to her, then he should just say it. Okarun, flustered and stuttering, tried to explain that it only looked like they were coincidentally heading in the same direction, which made Momo raise a questioning eyebrow at him. She told him that the hallway they had just turned into led to an emergency exit and a dead end, then asked what exactly he thought he needed to do over there. Still trying to escape, Okarun began walking away, mumbling that he just hadn't gotten enough sleep and took a wrong turn. But Momo followed right behind him, shouting that he didn't take any wrong turn and asking if he really thought he could just run away like that, urging him to look at her. Panicking, he suddenly pointed to the side and said that he saw a space alien, which made Momo pause and look that way in confusion. He used that tiny moment of distraction as his chance to run off, but Momo immediately chased after him. She caught up to him and, with an irritated look, pulled him into a headlock while pinching his cheeks, shouting that he couldn't fool her, so now he'd better look at her. He tried to speak, but his words came out muffled because of his squished cheeks, so Momo snapped that if he had something to say, he should just spit it out. When he tried again, she yelled that she couldn't understand him at all and angrily called him a dodo brain. Then, Momo suddenly noticed something. Okarun's eyes were starting to well up with tears. Surprised, she quickly let go and apologized, saying she might have gone too far. She asked if she had hurt him that badly that it made him cry, but he answered that no, he wasn't crying at all. Momo's frustrated tone softened after that, and she somewhat sadly told Okarun that Gigi had informed her that she and Okarun used to be good friends. She then apologized to him, saying that she didn't remember him, or even the girl from Class D, and admitted that she had also been rude to her. She continued, saying that there was something she wanted to explain. She said that she had felt something unusual, that she had always been aware of the door at the back of the classroom, and she often wondered what that strange sensation was, until she finally figured it out. She explained that in that instant she saw Okarun, she felt a kind of relief. She added that it was probably because they were friends, and that's what she thought at the time. Hearing all this, Okarun clutched his chest tightly, overwhelmed by what he was feeling. Momo then told him that if there was something he wanted to say to her, he could just say it directly. Okarun recalled their very first bonding moment together, and with heaviness in his chest, he said that they weren't actually good friends at all, so she didn't need to force it. He said she didn't have to pay any attention to him either, but as he spoke, he remembered all the times they had walked home together. After that, Okarun was shown in tears, shouting that in order to become Momo's good friend, he would make the effort himself. He pleaded with her not to come talk to him, saying that this time, he would be the one to come and talk to her instead. He asked if she understood, then begged her not to forget it this time. Momo agreed, and suddenly placed her hands on his shoulders, turning him to face her and telling him to look her straight in the eye. Momo stared into his eyes, but Okarun couldn't bring himself to meet her gaze. Because of that, Momo shouted in frustration, pointing out that he had averted his eyes, to which he tried to explain that he just couldn't do something like that on demand, prompting Momo to exclaim that this was serious. In the next scene, the two of them went to the bench in the inner courtyard, where Momo asked Okarun what his name was. She said she wasn't sure what she should call him. Okarun paused for a moment, thinking, but soon answered without turning to her that his name was Okarun, which made Momo say that she didn't mean his nickname. She asked what his real name was and told him not to make her use his nickname. Okarun replied that he couldn't tell her his real name, which made Momo confused and asked why not. She said who even does that, and told him to just say it. He explained that she wouldn't like it, which led Momo to say that she didn't understand him at all, then asked why she wouldn't like someone's name in the first place. Even so, he repeated that she really wouldn't like it, to which Momo responded that she wasn't the one who could decide that, and asked when she had ever disliked someone's name. Okarun pointed out that she didn't like it before, which made Momo say she didn't remember that. He then asked her to just believe what he was saying, but Momo only scoffed, making him irritated and asked what she meant by doing that. After that, Momo asked why his nickname was Okarun, saying there must be a reason behind it. Okarun recalled how Momo once told him that since he was into paranormal stuff, his name would now be Okarun. After remembering that, he answered that it was because he liked the occult. Momo reacted in surprise and said so that's what he was into. The two of them fell silent after that, not saying anything. But in Okarun's mind, he felt sad about how distant they seemed. He thought to himself that even though they were sitting so close now, she still felt so far away. He began to recall all the things they went through together and said that all those times they spent together suddenly vanished. He said that no matter how much he tried to explain everything thoroughly, there was no bringing it back. He added that logically he understood it, but he just couldn't accept it. Momo then asked what kind of occult stuff he liked, to which he answered aliens. Momo showed a bit of interest, but after a moment, she fell silent again. Because of that, Okarun asked if it meant she didn't believe in them. Momo explained that it's up to the individual whether they decide to believe in those things or not. But Okarun yelled that it's not about an individual's belief. It's because those things really exist. Momo then said if that's the case, he should show her an alien. So he pointed out that she's already seen one. Vamola is an alien. That surprised her, and Momo said Vamola was just an exchange student from India. Okarun told her that was quite a confident claim coming from someone who had no memories, to which Momo responded that in that case, he should show her proof. Because of that, they went to find Vamola, and Okarun asked her where her kaiju suit was. However, Vamola said it was broken and currently with Mr. Peony for repairs. Momo then looked at Okarun suspiciously. She suddenly pushed him with her body while shouting where his so-called proof was, so he told her he'd get it soon. Momo pressed him again, yelling at him to hurry up, so he told her to just wait. He then invited her to come with him after school to Mr. Peony's place, saying she'd understand once she got there. Momo stared at him for a moment, then suddenly looked flustered as she asked if he meant she'd be walking home with him after class, saying it was so sudden. Okarun panicked and said that wasn't what he meant, it was for the proof. But Momo still looked confused and asked in surprise if that's why he approached her in such a weird way. Okarun shouted no, insisting that space aliens really exist. Momo pointed at him and asked if he was trying to use her amnesia as a way to seduce her into joining the occult, to which he replied that he wasn't trying to seduce her at all, again emphasizing that space aliens are real. Momo just acted grossed out and commented how cheap of a move that was. Soon after, Okarun thought of an idea and said that Sakata had an item that came from aliens, inviting her to go with him to the History and Culture Research Lab. But Momo just told him not to change the subject. Still, they went there in the next scene, where Sakata greeted them while talking nonsense. He told Momo to stay calm and listen to him, but she only stared at him blankly. Before he could even finish saying that before she lost her memories, the two of them were lovers, Ira quickly strangled him and shouted that they were not, while Gigi immediately stepped in between them, telling her not to get close to that guy. Ira scolded Sakata, telling him not to plant false memories like that. Sakata immediately started groveling on the ground with Gigi pinning him down, apologizing and admitting that what he said was a lie, while Ira called him pathetic. She then pointed out that Momo was an idiot and could have actually believed him. Hearing that, Okarun quickly stepped in front of Momo, while Momo started cracking her knuckles, saying they needed to do something about Ira's manners. Okarun panicked and begged her to calm down. Ira then said that besides, how else was she supposed to talk to Momo, since she used to be her slave, which made Okarun shout that it was a lie. Gigi then claimed that he was the best at Super Smash Bros., but Sakata argued that he must have meant himself, yelling that he'd never back down. Okarun again told Momo that all of that was a lie. After seeing all that, Momo asked if that meant everyone in the occult club were liars, and questioned how she was supposed to trust any of them. Ira then turned to Gigi and asked what was happening with Seiko. Gigi explained that she was still hospitalized in Shimane, and though she was pretending to be fine, she was actually going to have another surgery and wouldn't be released for 2 or 3 months. He said he figured that Momo must be really worried too, and admitted that they hadn't been telling her much about what's been going on. Ira looked toward Momo as she scolded Sakata, then suddenly called out to Momo and asked if she could have a moment of her time. When Momo turned to her, Ira revealed her acro silky form and stood facing her. However, Momo didn't react at all and simply asked what she wanted to say. Ira looked puzzled and asked if she couldn't see her transformation. Gigi then pointed out that Momo hadn't been able to perceive the evil eye either, adding that it seemed she'd lost her ability to sense the supernatural as well. Momo then asked if they were done and said she wanted to leave. Gigi quickly apologized and thanked her for giving them her time. Momo told Okarun to come with her, and he immediately agreed. Because of that, Ira suddenly grabbed Okarun's arm and shouted for Momo to wait, saying she wasn't taking Okarun with her, calling him by his real name, Takakura. That immediately caught Momo's attention. Her eyes widened, and she turned to look at them, questioning what Aira had just called Okarun. When she turned, she saw Sakata looking jealous while Aira started acting sweet with Okarun, cheerfully asking him to have lunch with her since she made bento boxes that morning. She added that she'd love to know what he thought of them, which left Okarun flustered and shocked. Momo then commented coldly that he wouldn't tell her his name because he said she wouldn't like it, but it was just an ordinary name. Because of that, she asked with an indifferent tone if they were even really friends. Gigi eagerly chimed in, saying of course they were, adding that he and Okarun got on like gangbusters. Aira quickly added that Okarun was much closer to her, still clinging to his arm. Okarun tried to tell Momo that yes, they were friends, but before he could explain further, Momo looked away and muttered that so this was how it was. She said she understood now, then turned and started walking away, leaving Okarun standing there silently. As she walked, Momo thought to herself that something was seriously bothering her. She wondered what that feeling was. It felt like she was completely left out. Clenching her fists in frustration, she irritably asked herself what exactly she was feeling. While she was still annoyed, someone suddenly called out to her, and when she turned, it was revealed to be Mr. Saint-Germain, or Count Saint-Germain, who then invited her to tell him all about her worries. Momo and Mr. Saint-Germain stared at each other for a moment, prompting Momo to ask who he was while pointing out that outsiders shouldn't be hanging around the school. Mr. Saint-Germain then commented, saying very nice, before asking if she had already forgotten about him. He introduced himself as the advisor of the History and Culture Research Club, Mr. Saint-Germain. Momo immediately called him a liar and said that she didn't know him. Mr. Saint-Germain then told her that even if she couldn't remember him, he knew who she was, which caught her attention. Momo's expression turned serious after that, and she decided to walk past him, brushing the whole thing off. However, she suddenly stopped when Mr. Saint-Germain held something out in his hand and said to let him give it to her. Curious, Momo asked what it was, and he explained that it was a crime prevention whistle. He told her that if she ever got into any kind of trouble, she should blow it. But he added that he wasn't entirely sure if it would even be of help to her, which made Momo look puzzled. Momo then said that, well, if it prevents crime, she'll hold on to it, before thanking him. After that, the two walked away in opposite directions. And in the next scene, Momo was seen talking to her friends about Mr. Saint-Germain. Miko explained that he had already been at their school for quite some time, but Momo insisted otherwise, which led Kei to comment that she really had lost her memories, adding that Mr. Saint-Germain had already been there since they started. Because of that, Momo firmly said that there was no way he had been there back then, and pointed out that she remembered both of them, to which Miko reasoned that she forgot Okarun. Kei agreed, commenting that poor Okarun, which made Momo fall silent. Afterward, Kei told her that Okarun was her boo. Momo explained that perhaps they had been good friends, but she said she didn't really sense that yet. While recalling how Aira used to be so touchy toward Okarun, she thought to herself that it felt like there were things she didn't really know either. She said she felt a kind of alienation. Because of that, Kei cut her off and told her to go on a date with Okarun, which made Momo ask why. Miko then shouted that maybe she was a blockhead, but said there was no need for her to be indecisive about it. Kei encouraged her to take action, pointing out that that's all a blockhead can really do. Annoyed, Momo demanded to know who they were calling a blockhead, while Kei suggested that they go find her almost boo. In the next scene, they approached Okarun and told him that they'd spotted a mummy man. As they forcefully held Momo to stop her from leaving, Miko explained that apparently, there was a mummy man wrapped in bandages hanging around somewhere, and that they figured they could all go together to check it out. Momo then yelled that she already said she wasn't going, asking who would even believe that load of crap, but Kei quickly told Okarun that Momo said she wanted to come too, making Momo irritated as she demanded to know if their ears were clogged. After that, they went to a museum featuring an exhibit about the mummies of ancient Egypt, and Okarun commented that so this was what they meant. Okarun immediately showed excitement and exclaimed in awe that the mysteries of the ancient world were about to be revealed. Momo then asked if it wasn't kind of morbid, while Kei wondered if there'd be anything tasty to eat there, prompting Miko to point out that that wasn't the reason they were going to the mummy exhibit. Once inside, The group started walking around, and Okarun began observing one of the mummies closely. Momo was taken aback, exclaiming "hot damn," and asked if what they were looking at was actually real. Okarun answered of course, and added that to think something from around 2500 BCE could still look like that in the present day was incredible. Miko expressed disgust at the sight, while Kei started looking for where the shop area was. Momo then asked Okarun why they did that to those people, and he explained that royalty at the time believed they needed their physical bodies to be resurrected in the afterlife. He added that they attempted to preserve their bodies through mummification. He then added that incidentally, the word mummy comes from the Latin word mumia, which refers to the substance used in making mummies. In response, Momo said that in that case, she wondered if anyone had ever come back to life after being mummified. Okarun answered that he didn't know, but explained that there was a theory suggesting that there are aliens from outer space that use human bodies because they can't survive on Earth without wearing one. He added that mummies are bodies those aliens preserve so they can reuse them when they return to space. While Okarun was explaining this and the two of them were focused on the exhibits, Kei and Miko quietly slipped away, leaving the two alone together. As they continued walking around, Momo exclaimed "what the hell" and commented that it sounded ridiculous. Okarun replied that she could laugh all she wanted, but even current academic theories were still just hypotheses, so technically, they could be upended. Momo pointed out that she wasn't laughing at all. In fact, she said it was actually interesting, which made Okarun turn to look at her. He then asked if that meant she believed in aliens, to which Momo immediately answered heck no. She explained that she didn't know whether aliens actually existed or not, but added that he sure told an entertaining story. Okarun blushed at that and felt a bit of relief, but the moment was cut short when Momo suddenly noticed that Miko and Kei were gone. Annoyed, she asked where those two had run off to, saying she couldn't believe they just left like that. In the next scene, the two of them had already left the museum and were now riding the train together. They both got off at Kawaguchi Station. As they walked outside, Momo irritably called her friends jerkwads, pointing out that it was their idea to go to the museum in the first place, and yet they just ditched them there. She added that it was unbelievable. After that, Momo told Okarun that he didn't have to walk her any farther, saying she could get home by herself, but he refused and said he'd see her off properly. Because of that, Momo questioned if he was trying to come all the way to her house, showing a bit of wariness as if suspecting he was acting like a stalker. That hurt Okarun, who asked her not to make it sound that way since he was just worried about her. Then Momo suddenly asked him if he loved her, which completely caught him off guard and made him blush hard. The two fell silent as they continued walking, and after a few moments, Okarun gathered all his courage and loudly confessed that he really did love Momo. That completely flustered her. Her heart raced and her face turned red, but to cover it up, she questioned how he could just blurt something like that out so easily. Embarrassed, Okarun turned his head away and reasoned that she was the one who asked first anyway. Momo pointed out that just because someone asks a question doesn't mean you have to answer it right away, but Okarun countered and shouted that he could, at least when it came to her. He then added that, after all, she probably liked him too, which shocked Momo even more. Still blushing, Momo told him that he doesn't get to decide that, and demanded why he'd think she'd ever like him of all people. Okarun clutched his chest in pain and exclaimed that his heart was breaking, insisting that she'd completely forgotten everything. Momo denied it and shouted that she didn't love him, telling him not to get any wrong ideas. But Okarun argued back that she did love him, and that it was the truth. That made Momo grab his cheeks and yell at him to shut up, insisting again that she didn't love him. But Okarun refused to back down and said that no, she had just forgotten. Momo then snapped that only a crazy person would say something like that, to which Okarun shouted back to call him crazy then. Because of his persistence, Momo gave in and said that if that's the case, then he should answer her question instead. She demanded to know why he told that cute girl, referring to Ira, what his name was, pointing out that she knew his name was Takakura. Okarun, instead of answering, pointed out that she was clearly concerned about him, claiming that it only proved she had feelings for him, which made Momo even more flustered and angry as she shouted that he made her sick. Suddenly, the atmosphere around them changed, immediately drawing their attention. Momo grew uneasy and asked what was going on since it suddenly got dark, while Okarun noticed what was happening ahead. From the road, a humanoid mummy appeared riding a bicycle while holding a katana, heading straight toward them, and as they widened their view, they saw that it was followed by an entire horde of serpos, all sprinting madly in their direction. While watching what was happening, Momo looked both confused and uneasy as she wondered aloud what exactly they were seeing. Okarun immediately grabbed Momo's right wrist and pulled her along while shouting for her to run. A swarm of serpo continued chasing them, seemingly led by the pharaoh mummy himself. As they ran, Momo glanced back and asked what was up with those things, commenting that they were charging at them like maniacs, to which Okarun yelled for her not to look back. In his mind, he grew frustrated and thought that this couldn't have happened at a worse time. He pointed out that neither Momo nor he could use their powers. Then, 3 serpos prepared to use their awesome zone, and before long, they unleashed a pressurized field in an attempt to stop the two from running. Momo turned her head as one of them flew toward her, but Okarun quickly moved in front of her, blocking the attack before it could hit, completely shocking Momo. Okarun groaned as he was knocked off balance from the hit, tumbling to the ground, while Momo screamed his name in panic. He shouted back for her to forget about him and just keep running. The serpo who attacked were stunned, unable to believe that their awesome zone had been repelled. Still, Okarun managed to get back on his feet after shaking off the pain, commenting that it felt like being tackled by a gorilla. However, he noted that it wasn't as bad as when he and Ira once felt like their bodies were being crushed. Because of that, he wondered to himself in surprise if maybe his spiritual power training was actually working. Suddenly, a faint glow appeared near Okarun's chest as he ran, catching his attention. Then, Momo blew the whistle that Mr. Sanjome had given her, making Okarun glance her way in confusion. After that, she started shouting for help, saying she was being chased by weirdos. She blew the whistle again, prompting Okarun to tell her that it wouldn't help and that for now, she should just keep running. Momo asked why not, explaining that it was a crime prevention whistle. She reasoned that if anyone heard it, they might call the police. But Okarun replied that there wasn't anyone around in this area, and if she kept blowing it like that, she'd just run out of breath. Annoyed, Momo snapped at him, asking what he was even talking about while blowing the whistle again. Okarun pointed ahead and told her which way to go, saying that if they could reach Gigi's house, they might be able to come up with something. Meanwhile, back with the serpo and the biking mummy, one of the serpo called out to the mummy, addressing him as Mr. Driss, and asked why he was dawdling. We were then shown Mr. Driss pedaling with great difficulty, his movements stiff as if his limbs wouldn't cooperate. As some serpo ran alongside him, one commented that if that was the problem, couldn't he just use another body? Another serpo urged him to hurry and catch up to the two. Mr. Driss's body began to creak, and a strip of bandage unraveled from his torso, forming a thin trail on the ground, which he used as a makeshift path for his bicycle. Back on Momo and Okarun's side, Momo grew alarmed when several serpo appeared in front of them and asked where they were supposed to go. While running, Okarun noticed something on the ground and immediately shouted for Momo to stop, confusing her. In the next instant, the concrete beneath them suddenly gave way, turning hollow. Momo started falling, while Okarun managed to step on a floor sign just in time. Momo began to freefall, but luckily, Okarun reacted quickly and grabbed her arm. Using all his strength, he held her up and shouted for her to grab his other hand. Terrified, Momo screamed back that she was trying. When she managed to reach his other hand, Momo shouted for him to help her, and as Okarun pulled her up with all his strength, she screamed for him not to let go. Okarun successfully pulled Momo up onto the floor sign, saving her just in time. Below them, most of the serpo fell into the pit created by the collapsing ground, while only a few managed to survive by stepping onto the nearby sidewalk. Okarun held Momo tightly so they could both fit on the small surface they stood on. Momo, nearly in tears, commented shakily that that was way too close. Still uneasy, she looked around and asked what exactly they were seeing, noticing that everything that wasn't white had turned into a bottomless pit. Meanwhile, Mr. Driss continued pedaling forward along his thin bandage path, while one of the serpo clinging to the edge shouted at him in frustration, asking what he was doing and why he was causing harm to them. Another surviving Serpo said that at this point, it didn't matter whether they caught the two dead or alive. Back to Okarun's side, Momo asked what those creatures were and if they were the ones behind what was happening. Okarun removed his bag and placed it in front of them, answering that yes, they were being attacked by aliens. Momo was shocked to hear that and found it hard to believe, asking what he was talking about and whether aliens usually went around wrapped in bandages. Okarun retorted that how would he even know that? Momo panicked as Mr. Driss approached them with his sword drawn. Okarun instructed her to stay behind him and keep her head down. When Mr. Driss got close, he suddenly unleashed an incredible burst of speed, passing right by them in an instant and slashing with his katana, striking Okarun's left shoulder. Momo's eyes widened in shock, while the Serpo were amazed by the speed Mr. Driss had displayed. However, Mr. Driss didn't seem satisfied with the hit, and soon realized that Okarun had managed to block his flash slash using the ogre club that Seiko had given him. The blade had only grazed his shoulder. Okarun groaned from the pain while Momo looked at him in alarm. He asked if she was okay, and as Momo held his injured shoulder, she demanded why he was worrying about her and what about himself. Okarun reassured her that he was fine and explained that he had a protective talisman from Seiko. And now, he said, he finally understood how to use the ogre club. He recalled his training, how to channel energy from the point beneath his navel, then guide it upward through his head. As he visualized the creation of a laser beam, the ogre club began to glow, transforming into a weapon that perfectly mirrored what he imagined, leaving Momo in utter shock.